So today we are doing a beginner's guide to utilizing Google Meet, the video conference software. Now we're going to hop over here on our desktop so I can show you step by step and all the different settings when it comes to using this software. Now we're actually going to be in our Gmail account to get started here just as a great starting point for us. So if you are wanting to go through all of these different steps, this is going to be the first thing we want to do is hop into our Gmail account. Now for us, we're going to go ahead and go to the top right-hand side right over here. I'm going to actually bring my little magnifying glass up. You can see it's the 3x3 dots over here. It's like that square. If we actually tap on this, it's going to show us a plethora of different options. Now you could just go to the Google Meets website, but if you have your Google account, you can go ahead and find this. Now our Google Meet is over here. It looks like a little camera for us, but it could be in a different spot for you. And in case you didn't know this, you can actually hold this down and drag it around. So if you're going to be using this a lot, you could put it up here towards the top to make it easier in the future for you as well. Or you can hide it down here towards the bottom if you really wanted to. But whichever way you want to do it, we're going to go ahead and click on this. And the first thing it's going to do is bring us over here to this page first and foremost. So I do want to go over a couple of different things. You can see here, it does let us know that there are some premium features, which we don't have for this demo account, but on our regular accounts we can. And for this gives you the option to be able to be on longer, have more people on there, higher quality of like audio and everything else as well too. But you can go ahead and just toggle through if you really needed to see all the different features that it has on there for you as well. Now on the left-hand side over here, it says for the video calls and meetings for everyone. You can see two different options. There is one section here where you can enter a code or a link, and then the join button will be highlighted for that. But if we want to go ahead and create a meeting for ourselves, we're going to click on the new meeting button over here in blue. Now, once we click that button, it's going to have three new options for us. The first one is to go ahead and create a meeting for later. So this will be at a future time. There's also going to be an option to go ahead and start the meeting instantaneously, which will just throw you in that meeting, and then you can invite others, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. And the third option right over here is you can actually schedule into your Google Calendar to be able to have a link created while it's in your calendar, and you can add people to that actual invitation as well. So for our example here today, we're going to go ahead and say that you want to go ahead and create your actual meeting right now. We're going to click on start an instant meeting. Now, the first thing it's going to do here for us is take us into this section here. I have my camera on for my recording, so it's not showing me up in here at the moment, but it should potentially ask you if you want to actually be on camera. It might even ask you to allow for your camera and your microphone to be on there if that's the first time you're entering into this room. So right now you just see our initials over here. You can see it's just the D there. And then on the left-hand side, you're going to see right over here, you can quickly be able to add people to this meeting, especially because we started it instantly. So you can click on add others, or you can copy this link and email it to them or text it to them. If you click on add others, there's this option that's going to pop up here for you to go ahead and type in people's email address. Or if you have a long list of people, as you start typing them in, you'll start seeing them populate, and you can go ahead and click this little button to go ahead and email them this portion here. Now, if you're still trying to get ready and you need to close this off, you can do that. And I'm going to show you in a bit how to actually go ahead and add them after you've closed this page down. So a couple quick things. First and foremost, on this page, you could see on the bottom left-hand side, our name is on here. Obviously, this is the name that is on your Gmail account for you. Then you're also going to have a couple other pieces of information here as well. So the most important things are going to be your microphone and your camera. Now, for us, you see them in red because, again, we're using them for our actual recording here. But for this, you can see an up arrow here for the microphone. This is where you can be able to change out the microphone settings. So if you click on this, you're going to see different options here for us. Now, we need permissions on here because we didn't, obviously, so we can be recording this episode. But you could see here, the down arrow will tell you which options you might have available connected to your computer. So if you're in like a laptop and there's already a built-in microphone, but you plug in a new mic, this is where you're going to be able to switch between them too. Same thing with the speaker. This is going to allow you to change out where the audio is coming from. And then you can click on the little settings bar here that will bring up a pop-up menu that you can go a little bit deeper into the settings here. Now you're going to see also for video and some other options as well too, but we'll get into that in just a sec. So let's go ahead and close this for a second. And then you're going to see the same thing with the camera over here as well. So if you click the up arrow, it's going to give you the option to switch between different cameras. So whether you have a laptop camera or a plugged in camera or whatever else, you're going to have that option there. You also have the option to add your backgrounds and effects over here. And then same thing with the settings to take you to where you just saw us earlier. Now for the background and effects here, if you click on this, you're going to see a pop-up menu come up over here on the right. And from here, you can go ahead and do backgrounds. You could also blur yourself as well too. You can add your own personalized background. So if you have like a group one that you're using, or you can go ahead and just add in any of these backgrounds as well too. And within just a few moments, it will show up behind you, and then it'll kind of filter you into that background as well. So you can see there's a ton of different options here. Now they do also have filters. You can put in some silly ones there. And then for your appearance, they do have framing, which if you want to toggle on and off, it just kind of keeps you a little bit more centered. So you can kind of mess with these things to make it maybe look a little bit better for you if you kind of need that setting. Obviously, you don't really want to do this while you're in a meeting, but if you want to do that right beforehand, you can definitely do so. Now we're going to close that off. And the thing I also want to mention here is with the microphone and the camera buttons here, obviously we don't have them on, but if you wanted to toggle, this is where you'll click on the icons to toggle them on and off. And you can see it's asking if we want to use it, but we're using it for our stuff here. So you'll just toggle this on and off, and obviously it's red. That means you can't be heard. If you have the camera slashed off, that means you won't be able to be seen, and you will actually go off screen from what you see here, which is just going to be our initial. Now, there's also closed captioning. It'll do its best to, type in whatever's happening on screen, or being spoken, I should say, show up on screen for you. There are reaction buttons here. And then, of course, a big one is to present on screen. So this is going to allow you to go ahead and post whatever you have on your computer to be able to showcase, whether it's some slides or maybe some audio that you want to go ahead and do. So if you click on this option, it's going to give you a couple different things. First, it's going to ask if you have a web browser open. So this for us, for example, is going to be Chrome tabs. So if we just want a specific Chrome tab, we could also do Windows, or we can do the entire screen. And then towards the bottom here, you're going to see a toggle to be able to turn your audio on and off depending on what you want. So if you want to be a little bit more cautious, you can turn off the audio here, so no accidental audio gets pulled over as well. But if you did need audio, you can have that toggled on. So whichever one is going to work best for you, you're going to go ahead and click on that option, and then you're going to click on share once that button is highlighted. So that way everybody on the call can actually see what you see on screen that you want to show them. So right after the presenter / share your screen is going to be a raise hand. Sometimes either in a meeting, whether you're asking for it or somebody else is at a meeting, it's going to have you be able to raise your hand. You can also do this on your keypad. You can see the controls over there. And then on the right of that, there are the more options. It's the 3 stacked lines. If we click on here, it gives you a couple different settings that we want to kind of go over and talk about, because these can be important. So first off, you want to go ahead and change out your layout. This is going to be very helpful. If you click on here, you'll see it's dynamic. This is usually a little bit more zoomed in, a little bit more clean. If you do tiled, this is just going to look a little bit more like a Zoom type of call. And then spotlight is going to be when somebody's talking specifically, it's going to highlight them. And then the sidebar is the main speaker and then a bunch of people on the side as well. You can also toggle how many people you want on the tiles over here towards the bottom, so that way it doesn't get too clustered all at once. And then you can also hide tiles without any video as well too. So you can have those settings set up there for you to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and click on the 3 little dots again. You can also go full screen, picture in picture, and then you can also do, again, the backgrounds and effects like we saw earlier. Now, if by chance you want to be recording this and you actually are able to, you're going to see right over here where you're going to be able to record. If you can't record, it's going to let you know, like you could see in this example here. This is because we have the base version. You do need to have, I believe, the premium version at this point to be able to do a recording while you're going through that process. So making sure that you have that upgrade bar prior to getting on a call, so that way you can do the recording process in real time. And then a little red dot will show up. I'm going to go ahead and do it right here. It's blue, obviously, but the red dot will show up here saying recording. And then when you want to be done recording, you can click that red button and hit stop recording, so it stops it. And what's really nice is that file, once you have it stopped, will go into your Google Drive, so you can go ahead and catch it afterwards. Obviously, depending on how long the meeting is or how long your call is going to be, the longer it's going to take to render and show up in your Google Drive. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off screen here so I can show you a couple different settings. Now, we talked about earlier that if you need to go ahead and add more people after the start of your call, you can see, I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. You can see this little eye icon over here in that little circle, as well as the next icon over here, which is the silhouette icon with the number above that. So that number indicates how many people are on this call. Obviously for me, it's just by myself. So you see the number 1. So for example, if we click the little eye icon first, you're going to see here, it's the meeting details, and there is going to be the copy joining information to go ahead and email that to people, or you can text that to people if you needed to as well. But I think the next one is a little bit better. So if you click on this, it's going to show you everybody in the meeting down here right? And you can see whose audio is on, and then you can have a couple other options like kicking them out if they're not doing great. But if you wanted to, you can click up here where it says add people. And then from here, you're going to have that similar pop-up menu from earlier where you can type in somebody's name or their email address and go ahead and quickly send them an email to invite them to that meeting. And you could do this after the meeting has already begun, whether you already are recording or, if you're in the middle of a presentation or somebody else is and you want to go ahead and add other people. And then there is that 3 little dots over here on the side. If you wanted to go click over here, you can pin somebody to the screen. You could either pin it for yourself or pin it for everyone. And what this means is if you are either recording or you are the presenter, and whoever you're pinning, you want everybody to see that same person being pinned, you would click this for everybody to see that person pinned. So if they're talking or you just want them on screen or a special option for that person, you'll go ahead and click for everyone. Or if you just want it for yourself, you can do that as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this off here. And then the next option here is going to be with the chat. So this is going to be the chat over here for everybody to go ahead and see. So you can go ahead and type things in and send it within the chat, and you can see it's going to be visible for everybody. Now, next up there is going to be the 3x3 dots. If you click on here, there's going to be additional tools that you can utilize. Some of them are going to require the premium version of the Google account, so to be able to do that, such as the recording, polls, live streaming, and even breakout rooms as well. And then the last option over here on the bottom right is going to be some host controls. So you can control if people are able to share their screens, send chats, send reactions, having their mics be able to turn off on their own, as well as some meeting access as well too. So whether you want it completely open or you want to go ahead and, we'll go ahead and stay on this call. That's what happens as well if you are on the basic version. If you have the premium, it doesn't have that pop-up. So right over here, you can choose a couple different access points for the meeting. So you have a lot more control for this meeting instead of just people randomly coming and going or having access to things that maybe you do not want access to. Now let's go ahead and say you are complete with this conference call and you want to go ahead and end it. There is going to be this nice big red button with the phone icon on there. Now, because we just have ourselves in here, it won't ask us a certain question, but if you had multiple people on the call, it will ask if you'd like to end the call for just you or for everybody, which of course we want to end for everybody if you are the host. But I do want to show you that if you accidentally click on this at any point in time, it will give you the option to rejoin as well. So ending it like this will go ahead and jump you to this screen, and you can click on return to home screen to get started on the next video conference call. Now, there is also a chance that you might be landing on this page at any certain point, whether you actually jumped out of the call or need to get back into the room. And I want to show you what some of these settings really mean here for us. So right over here, it is kind of giving you like a preview of what you're getting into. So you can kind of get your hair ready, make sure your camera is all set up as well too. You can toggle things on and off to be going into the call with your camera on or your camera off, whatever it needs to. And of course, if you need to allow that camera and microphone. Now from here, you can actually click on join now, or you can actually click down here underneath to go ahead and join in whatever different ways. Now, one other little caveat we want to make sure when you're going ahead and jumping in is on the top right-hand side, you want to make sure you are in the correct actual email address, because if you have multiple Google accounts, you might be on the wrong Google account to be joining in. And if you're doing a professional call, you might want to make sure you're on the right one. So if you absolutely need to, right underneath your email address, there's going to be a switch account to go ahead and switch out to whichever other Google account you need to be on. And it'll take you back to the same page, and then you can click on join now, and then you'll get right back into the meeting itself to go ahead and continue on or to join in for the first time. Now, this is, of course, the starting point when it comes to utilizing a Google Meet account and getting the basics understood. And like I mentioned earlier, there is a premium version. If they sometimes do have any type of promos to go ahead and bump up to a premium version, I'll toss a link down in the show notes if they do have them, so that way you can save additional money. And if you by chance are using this for business purposes so you can continue to grow your business, we always got more content here for you to keep on learning more about running your small business. So check out our next video right over here on screen.